Okay, so this is a customized version of the Merchants Village software I put together for a client that had some specs that were very specific to their business. And the first part of that is we have a new inventory system in this version. This client has a system in place where they have a 10% discount that happens every 2 weeks. So items are brought in, and each of these items are tagged with a date and a bunch of other information, commission rate. So they have a specific commission rate that they can assign to every specific item. There are some default commission rates based on whether the consignor is what they call a dealer or a consignor. So they have some standard rates for people who are there permanently and for other people that just bring items in. You can see depending on the booth number that changes, and depending on whether or not they're a consignor or a dealer, that changes. And all that information is entered in a little custom form. Basically what we had in the Merchants Village original system, but with some more information, including a little drop down for whether a consignor or a dealer. Their rent rates are also included there. And so you can enter an item description, price, and you can choose whether or not it has the 10% discount. And you also see that this system has an inventory number assigned to every single piece of inventory that's included in the system. And the system can easily handle several 100,000 items without any speed delays. It's been tested up to a couple 100,000. And you'll see when you type in the booth number that the inventory number, the next available inventory number automatically comes up, and then the next available booth item number comes up. So if a consignor comes in, they have 5 or 10 items, they can have a unique booth item number for their booth. They can have items, for example, 1 through 10, or any numbers they want, and that inventory number still has a unique identifier. So that every single piece of inventory has all of this information included, including attached to it the name of the person who brought it in, and and all this other information that's entered here. So we add a couple pieces of inventory. You can see the numbers are automatically incremented, and this was all exactly to the spec that this client gave me. You can see here when we print out, they wanted to give their customers a receipt that had a contract, and that contract that's printed on the receipt has some specifications that are different for different classes of consignor. A different contract prints out for the dealers, and a different contract prints out according to the item that's entered in that inventory system. That's printed right on the receipt, and then you can see we made some changes exactly to their specifications, to the label and how the labels are printed. So for them and for the customers, the date is very important, because every 2 weeks a 10% discount is added. Every other Wednesday a 10% discount is added, and we wanted the price prominent. We cut down the size of the actual barcode and put some more information, including the inventory identifier and the description, about 25 characters of the description of the item, with a little highlight on the date. That was the information that was most important to her in running her business. So now, see, that last number was item 190 and 192. We can bring that stuff up now here in the inventory system, and using the point of sale system. And these scan, but we can type them in manually. So all that information that we just added comes up, and you can see the date attached to it, and which is the next Wednesday date. That's automatically calculated. And you'll see for items that are older, for example, this item was added with the start date of February 26th. The original price was $10, and so it automatically calculated a 10% discount for that, because that was from a previous 2-week period. And they in their personal system, in their specific customized system, they've got this plan in place that the consigners agree to, where every 2 weeks 10% discounted from the price, and after a period of 20 weeks the values are donated, or the items are donated to a worthy cause. They also have some features on here that they wanted in particular. This client wanted to be able to look up notes about their customers, add notes at the point of sale so they can remember what they talked about last time, and be able to edit that right at the point of sale. So you get an idea of some of the personalization that we added here. And the point of demonstrating all this is that anything that you can imagine can be added to the Merchants Village system. And you can see this is the same system that was used in the original Merchants Village software, the open source release. We made these changes over a period of a few weeks, and the total cost for the entire inventory system and for all of the special reports that she wanted, you can see we have that inventory batch system and some other options to manage inventory along with the number of reports. So she wanted, for example, to be able to search inventory by date, so you can bring up items and see which items are included on that particular date. She also wanted to be able to search for items that have been sold, so she can bring up items. Let's see here if we have an item that has those characters in it. And we can also look for items that have been sold in her reporting system. This client wanted items that have been sold to automatically be removed from inventory, but during the interim, to make sure they still have things or don't have things, they can search the sales receipts and see when an item was sold, and go through and find those items in the sales receipts for any period. And they had a number of other reports. They wanted to be able to sort their customers by those who had the greatest number of sales and those who had the greatest number of visits. And you'll see here, this is all, of course, just test data that was entered to test the system. So it counts the number of customers and then categorizes them, or sorts them from the best to the greatest number to the lowest number of sales. And you can do the same thing with the number of visits for customers. So they can do special, give special incentives to their best customers. You can see how many times each customer had a sale. And any sort of customization like this, any sort of information that you want attached to individual items. In this case, this client has consigners who label their items just manually, and so they wanted to be able to type in any sort of booth number and any sort of random item description. In the original Merchants Village system, we had an item list, basically used numbers and a list of generic items, but here you can see you can type in anything you want, and it'll add that to the point of sale. So there's still all the same flexibility, all the same options that are available in the original Merchants Village software. And we changed the layout a little here and gave her also, she wanted, for example, to be able to add an item and give a discount. So we have some buttons here for automatic discounts. I can make the calculation and add those changes. And any sort of other option that needs to be added can be added. Any sort of feature. For example, here this client wanted to add a special fee for things like special events and postage, and she wanted those things to be calculated in the reports. So we have a little receipt here for special fees. Automatically puts the date and that sort of thing. And any of those sort of special fees are automatically taken care of in the reporting system, along with any commissions and all the rent fees. So those are automatically calculated. At Merchants Village, we did things differently. We had a separate rent system. They just paid by the month, and it wasn't taken out of their sales. They they just prepaid for the month. But the system can be set up to report in any customized way, any way you can imagine. And again, using this inventory system, we can add any sort of information. In this system, there are about 14 fields for each item, including whether or not there's a discount, what the specific commission is, the description, the booth item number, so they have their own item numbers, the customer's name or the consignor's name, all that information, and of course all that related information is attached to each piece of inventory. And there's really no slowdown in the way this works. I tested it with a couple 100,000 items, which is about the limit of this client's volume, and it takes about a tenth of a second to bring up the items, any sort of inventory item. And so that's searching through. As I type in inventory items there, that's going through the inventory database and bringing up all the information. And of course, all of her receipts and printouts and reports are all customized exactly to her spec, so it operates exactly as they want their business to run. So if you have questions about whether or not the system can be used to perform exactly as your business operates, typically the answer is going to be yes. And in this case, the cost was still far less than the cost of this customization was far less than the average price of the commercial products on the market. So on top of that, she's got a custom system and custom support to run exactly the way she wants, and she can design screens and reports and any other option that she wants to add later on. Now that I'm familiar with her particular operation, is easy because the system is geared exactly to the way that she runs her business. If you have questions, just drop me an email or give me a call, and I'm happy to consult and talk if you have questions about what the system's capable of, any of its limits, or anything that you want to add to it. Just let me know. I'm happy to talk about it.